Hello there, fans of retro television. My name is Dave Sundstrom and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share a story that was told by Audrey Landers herself. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with Audrey, she's a talented actress and singer who really made her mark in the world of entertainment during the late 70s and early 80s. The story I'm going to share is about Audrey's first time on the set of Dallas. And guess what? As luck would have it, she had a scene in bed with none other than the legendary Larry Hagman, the dude who played J.R. Ewing. Now don't worry folks, I promise that I will keep this thing PG-13, but let me go ahead and set the scene. Audrey and Larry are in bed. According to Audrey, underneath the covers, Larry was rocking a pair of blue jeans and, believe it or not, cowboy boots. And Audrey, well, she was definitely dressed in something a bit more alluring. Just as the director shouted action, mischief maker Larry Hagman sprang into action. Right beside them was a fancy ice bucket with chilled champagne. As Larry lifted the champagne out of the bucket, he also grabbed a bunch of ice and very sneakily, out of the camera's view, let it slide down Audrey's back. Being the consummate professional, Audrey did her best to keep her cool, literally, as the icy coldness chilled her to the bone. The gasping sound that she made when the ice hit her back was fortunately something that she could use in the scene and allowed her not to miss a beat. She stayed in character, much to the delight of Larry, who took every opportunity to lean into the scene dramatically. He wanted to make sure that this would be the take that would ultimately be used. So here's the twist. Everyone was in on the joke. The director, the crew, everyone behind the camera. They knew this was going to happen, and they were cracking up. At last, the director called cut. Audrey turned to Larry, and of course, he was smirking like a Cheshire cat. He told her, "That's our way of breaking the ice." Pun totally intended. Looking back, that crazy moment reminds us that even big shows like Dallas had their own way of having fun. You know, the show was already a massive hit, especially after the whole Who Shot JR thing. Spoiler alert, Bing's daughter did it. Anyway, Audrey hopping on board that massive show was definitely a turning point in her career. And what a career it's been. Like I said at the beginning, Audrey is not only an actress, but a very talented singer as well. During the 80s, right around the same time as her tenure on Dallas, Audrey became an international pop star, charting first in Germany, but then all over Europe. Aside from Dallas, I remember her best for her multiple appearances on a couple of my favorite TV shows, The Love Boat and Fantasy Island. And of course, there were her appearances on Battle of the Network Stars. Oh, I loved that show. Anyway, getting back to this particularly icy story, I probably should give credit where credit is due. I first heard Audrey recount this tale on the Pop Culture Retro podcast, hosted by the dynamic duo author Jonathan Rosen and actor Ike Eisenman. Their show is a treasure trove of nostalgic tales, and their hour-long interviews are some of the very best out there, and this one in particular with Audrey was one of their most enjoyable to date. The Friendly TV streaming service recently added MeTV to their channel lineup. And you know what? They didn't stop there. They've also got Heroes and Icons, better known as H&I. Right now, Friendly TV has 9 channels that are dedicated to playing classic TV shows and movies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you know what? There's more on the way. The really cool thing is that between all of these channels, it's pretty darn easy to find most of the TV shows that we all loved when we were growing up. And have I mentioned that you get all this for just $6.99 a month? Quite frankly, if MeTV had a streaming service of its own, I'd be willing to pay that price.